All right. Good morning, my good peeps. Lindsay Duff here from Motivated Trader. Um, I'm really sad that I missed this morning. I definitely would have loved to catch the short here. There was some great pullbacks. And right as I was opening up, I'm like, oh, there's another one. Um, so it's really not a lot I can do except for wait for shorts at this point. And hold on, I don't know where all my lines went on my So I'm gonna hit pause because right now there's nothing I can do. There is a strong push down. This is not had any type of divergence, so there's no divergence to break. Um, but that would be nice to see a broken divergence day with a strong trending market to give us lots of pullbacks to catch some trades. So this is the best movement we've seen, and you know, I'm kind of sad I missed it, but oh well. So I wanted to take this short about right here, and just my MACDs were so strong up that I couldn't allow myself to take it. When we have a strong push like this, I know it's going to take those MACDs. It's going to take a little work to slow down and roll them over. You know, we had such a strong push down in the price, and the MACDs were very weak. So when the reaction came up like this, the proper move is to get in probably about right here, and then be cautious of your exit. This is actually where I would be taking an exit at this point had I taken the entry, because the MACDs are still leading up on the 1597. I still have a lot of ticks left to count, but that was my read of it at that moment. Yeah. Now we're finally creating that divergence. Price is pushed down, pretty much equal that previous pivot point. MACDs haven't even rolled down at all. So, and I anticipated that to happen with this strong push up, which is what really, that's what I'm working on also. And I worked with it yesterday, and I did fine with it yesterday. I just need to pay attention. I was actually writing back and forth with one of my students at that time, and so it didn't have my full focus. Today, it just may not get my focus. I'm going to be taking a little bit of time off from trading, I think, so I can really start creating this program that I want to get going. My intentions are to create a video program that teaches you how to flow with the market. And so, yeah, and it's by reading the MACDs, by reading the price action, and the strength of the EMAs. Yeah, there we go. That continues push up. Yeah, had I not taken the exit there, I would definitely by this point go, ooh, we need to get out of there. Now let's see if this pulls back and gets ready to push back down. Still strong MACDs up on both the 610 and the 1597. After such a strong move, I don't really anticipate this to be the end of this. Actually, oh, I just can't let myself do it. It's pulling back closer to the 610 EMA, which is good, but there's still a ton of strength up on both of the macros right there, and I'm not in it. So strong trending markets can be difficult mentally, because you're going, well, it can't actually be turning from there when it is. But I don't chase trades. When I do, I get myself in trouble. It doesn't leave my risk in the right spot, and then it doesn't leave room for something that might potentially happen like this, where if I get in a little late, that it pushes back up a little bit higher. What I'd really, really, really love to see is that this pushes up a little bit higher, then it creates some divergence in the top pivots on the 610, and then look for the short to continue. Still really strong up. And I'm just pulling this back because, you know, one thing that we have to understand with the charting process here is that each section of the chart is going to show the high and the low unless you throw it off with this. I think it's best that way whenever you see the high and the low, but sometimes you can't see the strength of what's really happening here because of this big move really just makes that look just like nothing. And so I kind of pull it back sometimes so I can get a better idea of what it's doing at that time. Push up, divergence look I want to see on the 610 before I take a short. So what I want to see is the price push up a little bit higher, and MACDs struggle to make it up there on the 610. Maybe even pull in just a little bit lower than this pivot here. Just going to kind of put that there so I can watch it. Or just go straight down from here. This is something that I see happen very, very often. It just makes these little bit of higher pivots and higher pivots until it pushes back into the area, slows down on the price and gives me divergence, and then I can take the trade. So I guess even though I say I don't have rules, maybe I do. Strong push down the MACDs. That's what I'd like to see. Weak retracement. Still continuing up on the 1597. This might be it right here, but I really need it to pull back a little bit further. I'd really like it to come up and make a higher pivot on the price and a lower pivot on the MACDs. Good job, Jay. I just got a message say the way the price is looking, I want to take a short, but the MACDs are telling me long. Okay. Oh, that's it. Oh, those MACDs are really strong up on the 1597. Let's wait for a little bit of a slowdown. Oh, I think I may have missed it while I was typing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the lowest I can go. I'd like it to happen here. Let's give it a shot. I may pull back a little bit further up towards the 1597 EMA, but here's my lower pivot. This one may stop me out. Not really pushing through like I'd like, and the MACDs are still strong up here. So it may come up a little bit higher. And be patient. Right back into that area. Still a lot of strength up here. I want to give it just a moment. And I'll be prepared. Just got to roll down here. Not a huge fan of my entry, obviously. Dogs are being such weirdos. Okay, it's going to have to push off of here and roll right now for me to have faith in this. There we go. I'm liking the roll. Now let's think about where this could go. Give me some room to run after that big move. Yeah. Thought it wasn't recording for a moment. All right. All right, all right, all right. I can really probably move it right behind this bar, which would put me at a break even, but I'm going to let it go for just a moment. Push, push, push. Strength down. Not a ton of strength down, but I like the sharp angle. No reason to lose anything on this at this point. Going to be prepared for my exit. Oh, I think I'm exiting too early if I exit now. I'm exiting based on fear right here. There's a lot of strength down. Let's see where I'm at with my okay, we're good. Even if this pulls back into the EMA here to push down. I don't want to move it down to a break even just right now. Let's watch these roll to the downside. Continue down. This is way too much strength to get out now. I'm almost tempted to put in a little bit more right here. So that pulls up and pushes down. I'm going to pull my price there. 1, 2. Let's go back down here where we were. Now I've got profit locked in. All right, I don't want these MACDs to roll here on this imaginary line that I drew. This is my little tiny bar at that area where I get a little bit nervous, but the MACDs aren't rolling to the upside. So I'm good right now. Oh, that's 2 above right there. Okay. I'm going to go 2 above right here. Once it pushes past this area. Reversal bar happening at the area. Not quite. There we go. 1, 2 behind there. Let's see it push down a little bit more. There we go. I think I might go ahead and take my exit here. There we go. All right. So what happened at that area? It started to really start to slow and roll. Got a little bit of a slowdown. Can this push down for more? Heck yeah, it can. This pullback going down further. But hey. Yeah. Okay, so I'm probably done for the day. Just really quick, I want to go into a little bit about what my decision was to exit here. I had my my sorry, my coffee is starting to kick in. I'm getting the woo. I had my target way down here, but when this pulled back, I didn't love my entry, but it was the right place. I really am working on catching it just a little bit higher here, but I'm not a perfectionist, so I'm okay with what I'm doing. Um, and so when this pushed down, it gave me, you saw, I had plenty of room, areas to move my risk. I finally moved it here. At that point on the 1597, what's happening is you started to get these bars, that next one that just was slowing down, major divergence happening on your 1597. Been waiting for that because it's a strong move. We're waiting for that to happen. Now is where the decision point comes. Is this a strong trending market? So is it going to push past that divergence and create more lower pivots? Or is this divergence going to shift the trend of the market? Which means to me, to actually shift the trend, it's going to have to push way up here and start giving me moves to the upside here. But otherwise, what I'll see happening, and pull this over so you can see what I mean there, because that's a ton of work for this to do. Our EMAs are wide and spread apart. There's lots of room between each one, which tells me we have strong moves. This would be the next area to start looking for the short trade as it pulls back up the small bar, possibly going down here to say, hey, screw this divergence. We're breaking on through. And then, but otherwise, what's going to happen, and so we see the change of the trend, what it would look like. Or if the trend's going to continue, there's a couple of options. It could go up and down from here. It could go up and down from below this previous pivot here. Or it could even push all the way up here just to come back and be below this major pivot here. So if it's still below this major pivot, I can still say, okay, well, we might be looking for more continuation in that direction. And along the way, it's going to give you a lot of opportunities. So if it pushes all the way back up there, if it pushes even all the way back up to here, because this is now lower than this previous point, this is where you're able to take those trades into the magic zone area, the ones that I'm not a huge fan of. They're a struggle for me. And I think it's just because I don't understand the elements that really go into it. When these EMAs are wide and spread apart, to me that says strength down. But if I'm trading into it to the upside, that says that I'm not, well, I guess it tells me that I'm not wholeheartedly into that strength down. If I take this, so I'm working on that reversal, because I saw potential for the long here, but my mind is really in a position where I like to think of the quick moves. I'm sorry, I don't like to think of the quick moves. I like to think of the longer moves. So the quicker moves are a bit of a struggle for me. So that is, there's areas that I need to work on, tons of them. Just because I understand them doesn't mean that I have the courage to take them then. I've been listening to a lot of stuff about vulnerability lately, and absolutely recording these videos for y'all is a lot of vulnerability for me. I'm not gonna lie. I do listen to them myself later, and sometimes I go, God, you sound like an idiot. And sometimes I'm like, God, you sound so smart. And so, but it, I understand it, and I've been able to teach this for a long time for people, but still being able to take those proper trades at the proper area are my struggle at times, just like anybody else. But it pulled back and gave you the short opportunity. Now, this is the deciding factor. Are we going to push past here, which it looks like it's trying to, or are we going to continue to create divergences and push it back up? So if this makes another divergence here and pushes back up, we're definitely going to have that look of a bit of a wedge on the MACDs, because we'll have this going on right here. My opinion is that this is going to continue down. My opinion is that this is going to push back up a little bit more, and it's going to continue down and push past this divergence. A lot of times when I'm looking for reasons for divergences to break or hold, it has a lot to do with the strength of the market coming at that area. This is a freight train pushing at it. So do we have a steel wall that's going to hold that freight train from pushing through? Or is this just, very easily to violate and push on through? Right now, we're getting both divergences on both the charts. So I was a little sad about missing the morning, but I guess I didn't have to worry about it so much. Just really quick, in case you're curious, if you're new to this, when this pushes back down and gives a weak retracement like it does here, it gave me the double bar with a close towards the bottom. I'm looking for trades in this area. And I'll show you exits in just a moment. These are all pullbacks for entries. I'm not a huge fan of them. I like them to be more just kind of not out in the middle, but it's absolutely areas for entries, and they're also absolutely areas to move your risk along the way whenever it pulls back. You can move your risk here, you can move it here, you can move it here. I actually did consider a short right here, but I felt like it was too it wasn't conservative enough for me. And I'm a pretty conservative trader. You don't see me taking a ton of trades throughout the day. Um, yeah, so I'm pretty conservative. But and for these exits, I just want to show you, if you were, getting out based on fear, it would definitely be something like this. There are, you can see when it comes down, it gives you lots of opportunities here. I don't really see a reason for exiting here. There's a lot of strength still down, possibly here, definitely here. And if you haven't exited by the time it pulls down right here, definitely take that exit. If you were looking for the bigger move, then you wait for the first pullback is right here. And I guarantee you there were people in here. And a little bit more conservative, definitely up towards the top. Well, I don't know. I say conservative because it has a lower risk on it, but to me it's a little aggressive because I don't have my confirmation just yet, which I got right in here, and I chased it a little bit. I got the same price here, and I feel really good about it. If I had gotten in at this point when the bars start to make the long bar and close at the top and the reverse on the MACDs, definitely getting out of that trade. And then where we currently are, there's too much strength for me to want to get into a short trade. I would have to see the same thing that happened here happen again here. Push up, come back down, weak retracement, divergence. There we go. And we'll watch this for about 10 more minutes, and then I'm going to call it an early day. I've been spending a lot more time with the market the last few days, and it does get tiring. It's fun. I'm sitting in classrooms with people and watching them, which has kind of got me a little bit more motivated to sit in the class a little bit longer. I'm sorry, I keep yawning. Yay, Jay made a point on the long. And the long is absolutely there. It is. It's just not something I trade. I can teach you how to trade it with no problem. It just isn't in my comfort zone. I don't expect everybody to trade the way that I do. I think that we all have our own style and our own grace in the market. And whenever you are confident in your style, whenever you're confident in the way that you're reading the market, then you don't worry about missing those trades. And you know what? Maybe 5 years from now, I'll be taking the trade down and then the trade back up and the trade down and the trade back up. I don't need that right now. I'm good. Let me just. I guess not one trade, one area, 2 entries, 2 contracts, plus 0.5. I don't see myself taking another trade today, but wouldn't it be fun? Your 1597 and your 610 EMA are starting to get a little wavy, but that's because we have the attempt at the push back up so that we can possibly get in a little bit deeper and pull back. This is possibly going to be it right here. The curve of the MACDs. I really like to see a pullback and then roll over, but this rollover happens quite often. I'm just not willing to take it right back into a line that I drew, which really goes up here because of these pivots. So let's see. Let's see if there's anything else. There was a hold up at one point, some point in time, but nothing too seriously strong. Now this is where I would typically like to get in. I can't do that above the zero line like this or without a sort of pullback and a weak retracement. It's sitting here, divergence, but it's not it's in that angle up that I'm not comfortable with. That divergence, typically you'd want to see the curl over happening almost right away. So this will definitely have the possibility to come up and equal or surpass that previous pivot. So sometimes it happens with the third pivot, which creates a head and shoulders on the price action, and it will pull up a little bit higher and a little bit, I guess it would be a head and shoulders in the MACDs too, because if this pulls up higher and then it creates a divergence, which would be a lower pivot, then you would have head and shoulders on the MACDs. Oh, and that silly wedge is gone. I guess with the divergence, you wouldn't have a head and shoulders in the price. It would be a higher pivot, but it could be a lower pivot to a head and shoulders. So I love when I'm on the same page with people. I mean, I'm talking to one of my students on the side, and he says it looks like the previous pivot, however, there's no divergence. So not to take the short trade. I said, exactly, that's what I was just explaining. And so it's a beautiful thing when you see people opening up and starting to really see those things in order to move forward. Okay. Just pushing, pushing, pushing. Like, I swear, if y'all knew what was going in my head half the time, going on in my head half the time, you'd think I was probably a lunatic. But it's usually a song that plays off whatever words I just said. So, had some salt and pepper pop in my head just now. Talking about push it. Push it real good. Well, may just call this a day. I'm probably going to cut out a lot of the, like I said, guys, I'm cutting out a lot of the quiet, the just like the no sound, me smacking on food or my dog's lapping up water in the background time. Um, so I'm going to cut out some of that. And I'm sorry if it sounds choppy because I don't know how to do it properly. I mean, I do because it's pretty easy to use through the program, but to really, I'm not a professional at that. I don't think I'm a professional at anything. Professional just sounds so boring to me. But um but yeah, so I will do that and adjust that for you. Um Take out a lot of my ums and ands and I don't know, I can't really do that. Otherwise it sounds super choppy. But I'm just really curious to see if this is going to be a break of the divergence or if this is going to shift the trend. As I'm sitting here just kind of chit-chatting with one of my students, and if I work with you as a student, you have full access to me on Facebook almost all the time. Okay, they stopped calling. Nope. But yeah, so you'll always have access to me. If you've got questions, we're going to talk about it, even if it's during the live market, unless I am away from my computer or I'm in the middle of a trade, where even in the middle of a trade, if I'm managing it properly, I'm still able to answer questions. Him and I were discussing something right around here, and he said he felt like it was looking for a long. I said, well, we've got the divergence, or I said, yes, but I was like, hold on, because I had to stop talking to him so I could get into this trade. And then I mentioned about the divergence and those type of things. All right, I like this push of the MACD so far. That's really convincing. Now what needs to happen if I wanted to take the trade is for this to pull back very weakly and give me that head and shoulders or something like that and look for a short trade. And actually, I'm going to set up for it, but I don't know that I'm going to take it. Oh my Lord. None of that. Okay. Now, if I was to get in right here, it would definitely be getting on with momentum instead of getting on for a reason. It'd be going right into the zero line. I have this double bar, which may be a little bit of a, yeah, it might be time, but this is not a one that I can take right now. I needed to pull back just a little bit further and have a pullback in the MACDs here. And then I'll be concerned about the zero line on the 1597. Well, strong MACD's down. This could be it right here. It won't be, it will be without me if it is. I guess it gave a micro head and shoulders, just pulled back just a little bit right here. That's one little bar. Yep. But funny. You take away that line and look what happens. It's just open to the downside. You put it back and you're like, oh my God, there's something in the way. I'm feeling a little goofy today if you can't tell. I got better sleep. Yeah, it's definitely setting up for the short for me. I'm having some reservations about taking it for some reason. Trying to figure out what those reservations are. I don't know if it's just distraction from, my phone's been going off, and or if there's a very valid reason for this hesitation. Part of it is the zero line here. Part of this is this little bar that closed at the bottom, and then the next bar is opening at that low. Getting a pullback and not a lot of reaction in the MACDs. So it's probably going to go. I'm going to mark it with my arrow here. Or actually, let's put it on the price it's at right now. And there we go. That's my reservations are for a reason. And a lot of times when I ignore those things, I end up getting myself into trouble. Here's the head and shoulders. Here's the lower pivot. Here's the pullback without a whole lot of movement. Ooh, that was a pretty decent pullback. Let's see. So look, here's your head and shoulders right here. There's just something, I don't know what it is, but I don't want to take this trade. Maybe the way that the EMAs are starting to pinch up a little bit. The way that we bounced off the zero line here a little bit. I was talking to someone the other day, the patient trader, which has become one of my favorite people lately. What's up? But what was it that we were saying? Oh, yes. His belief is that the fundamentals can be taught, but the skill can't be taught. And I have to disagree just a little bit. I think that if you have the right, and I'm not saying that I'm the right person or anything like that, but if you have the right guidance, you learn to control the emotions. And if you are, I guess, brought up in a way of trading that that's a main part of it while you're learning, then if you're understanding that, hey, the emotions are gonna get in the way if I don't manage them properly with the trade. I mean, there's been times I can remember in the past where I felt like my body was literally vibrating because it was so against everything that I wanted to do in the trade, and I took it anyways because I was at the area. And it can be a very dangerous thing to do, is to trade because you're at the area. When you're trading at an area, it says that you don't understand what's happening in the market. You're just taking it because of the area. And that's not something that I can get on board with. I did that for years and I got run over for years, and I refuse to do that from now on. So it looks like on the 610 that it's really trying to push up higher with this little bar and pushing up. Although here's the divergence at the area, you're pushing up pretty hard with your MACDs on your 1597. And there was my reservation. That's, what I wanted to do is like, okay, this is set up. It's just right to get into this trade. Okay, even if it pulls back here, but just pulling up above the zero line and bouncing right off of it is a pretty good, hey, don't go into a trade going against that. So both of the MACDs are above the zero line. You are still below the HTF EMA, which to me says that we have not shifted the trend just yet. It doesn't mean that it won't, but we definitely have not shifted it just yet. To me, I have not broken this divergence. I'm going to really need to push through this, and then it'll show me broken. I'm sorry, this divergence has not held. I would really need to push through here for that divergence to hold. Otherwise, this is still fair game being below being below this pivot, but this is a major pivot back here that really pushed things down. So I'd be curious to see what happens if we get back above here and possibly pull back up to maybe right in this area, still being below there. Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for me today. But I hope you have a wonderful day. Please like and subscribe. I feel so silly saying that, but I love having y'all here. I love doing this for you, and I'll continue to do it as long as I can. So hope you have a wonderful day, and take it easy. I'm just going to add this in. I feel like a silly goose. I wasn't even paying attention. It was 2 trades at 4 1/4 apiece, which were each 2 contracts. So that was 17 points right there. Yeah, so 2 contracts each, 4.5 point or 4 1/4 points each move, so 8.5 points each contract, so 17 points for the day. And this is it's pushing up still pretty hard. It's pulling back, moving up. I'm going to insert this little piece of the video at the very end. I feel silly for writing it, but for not paying attention. I was just looking at my profit, not my cumulative profit. I was actually looking at that number and thinking it was from the last few days. I was like 17 points. I must be, covering since Tuesday, but no, that was just today. So it's 24 points so far for the week. I don't know that I'll be trading tomorrow. Fridays, I usually kind of like to take it easy. And I have some things that I want to do, lunch that I want to have, all kinds of great things like that, but that's really going to wrap it up. I'm sorry for adding this into the end, but yeah, hope y'all have a lovely day.